Hello and welcome to the WriteCome.com podcast, where we help you to make money from your words. Each episode will be sharing tips, tricks, and strategies you can use to make more money from your writing, publishing, and marketing to your fans and audience. Let's get started with your host, Barry J. McDonald.
Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very welcome to today's podcast episode from WriteCome.com. In today's podcast episode, I want to ask you to be more Amazon. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, before we go any further, I don't care whether you like Jeff Bezos, whether you think he is a devil incarnate, or whatever maybe negative feelings you have about Amazon. There are a lot of positive things you can take from them and things you can use to strengthen your own business. And that is what we're going to have a look at in this podcast episode. We are going to have a look at 4 ideas that they use in their business that maybe you should think about taking over to your own business. Now, the first one is they moved away from books. Now, again, you may be in the self-publishing business. You may be selling maybe low-content books, or maybe you've got a blog, or maybe you have some other platform that you are selling your content on. Now, when you look at Amazon, they probably knew from the very beginning that, there's only so much of a profit you can make on a book. I'm sure many a high street shop that's closed down, the bookstores have closed down because of Amazon, have probably hit the wall because you couldn't make a big enough profit from the books. Now, again, I don't know what type of profit the bookstores would make from selling a book, but I can't imagine it is probably more than a couple of dollars a book, even if it is that. So if you have a bookstore, you have to sell a lot of content to keep the doors open. And Amazon knew probably in the early days that if they were going to make themselves stronger, if they were going to kind of build a strong store, they needed to move away from books. They needed to come up with products that had a better kind of profit margin on them. So, they moved away from maybe the books that they're only maybe getting $1 or $2 on, and then they moved into more kind of electrical items that they could make more of a profit on. And again, everything else, clothing and everything else you'll find in the Amazon store. The profit margins on all of those products, I assume, are a lot higher than, what they were making on the books in the early days. So Jeff Bezos, probably as a wise decision by him, was probably to decide to move away from the book market and to kind of make his store a lot stronger by kind of selling other products that they could make a larger profit on. So that's maybe something you should consider doing. I'm not saying you should just drop your books, whatever you're selling at the moment, drop that and then go off and try to sell some kind of large screen TVs or some kind of gaming platforms, whatever. I'm not telling you to do that, but you could have maybe your books as a kind of introductory product to your business, but you could have some back-end products along the way. So you could have some maybe coaching, maybe you might have some video courses, training courses, software, supplements, or whatever. But think about what you can add in behind your books to make your little business more profitable than it is. Yeah, and you may be only making a few dollars with the books, but how more profit would you be making if you were selling maybe a video course for $27 or $97, or maybe if you were doing one-to-one coaching, where maybe you were selling your coaching for maybe a couple of $100 a month. If you can imagine the profit on that rather than the small profit you can make on the books. And again, as I said, I don't want you to kind of jump out of writing or self-publishing, whatever, but consider adding some maybe more profitable products on the back line to make your business more stable, and that you've more of a kind of a flow of cash coming in that is a lot more dependable on. So consider maybe doing that, moving away from books. Now, another thing that Amazon took on was they kept in touch with their customers. Now, I have mentioned this many times before. The high street, unfortunately, has foul of not keeping in touch with the customers. When you used to go to a store in your local high street, you just hand over your cash, you'd get your bag of products or your clothing or whatever, and then you'd walk out the door. And you would never, ever hear that store owner saying, oh, by the way, have you got an email address? Can we keep in touch with you? Or, is like our Facebook page or whatever. Or, give us your details and join this competition so maybe you can get maybe 10% off your next shopping, or even just handing you 10% voucher or something like that off your next shopping trip, just to get you to go back into the store. A lot of them, unfortunately, will advertise in the local papers, they'll advertise on TV, they'll advertise on radio, and they're constantly chasing after new customers, and they're not considering the customers are going back out the door. And that was one good thing that Amazon knew. It kept in touch with your customers. If you had to create an account on the Amazon store, the first thing they asked for was an email address. So again, in the early days, I don't think they're actually doing it as much now, but in the early days, they were constantly sending you emails every so often saying, oh, by the way, you read this book. Would you also be interested in this book? Or you had bought this product. This product here would go nicely with that product you bought. So they're constantly reminding you and, making you aware that they were still there. Even if you didn't go back to the store, they kept reminding you Amazon is only kind of a click away. Don't forget, if you need to buy anything off us again, come straight back. But they were constantly kind of on the verge of your attention. So they were constantly at, forefront of mind when it came to making a purchasing. Where would you go? The last place that probably come to mind would be Amazon. So then you'll probably go over and buy that product over there, or at least have a look and see what the prices were like over there. And unfortunately, the high street never really took that on. And again, they fell foul of that. So, and unfortunately, a lot of stores have closed. But that is probably why Amazon is as big as it is, because it kept the details of those customers. And not only did they do that, they actually brought out their own low ebook readers. At the time, for somebody to buy a tablet or an ebook reader, it was very, very expensive. But what Amazon did was they actually made them at cost price, or even made them at a loss, because they knew that once everybody had a Kindle in their homes, straight away that was a platform that they controlled, they owned, they could sell advertising on it, they could advertise their products on it. Again, to anybody who has got a Kindle reader will know that straight away, as soon as you come to the first page, you're straight away met with an ad or an offer or some product or whatever. And that is another thing that they control. I think they've actually moved probably away more from the emails, because they have more tablets, they have more of these kind of devices that are listening in your home and all that are within easy reach for them just to send an advertisement out to you to get what either offer or products or whatever back in front of you. So that is another good thing that they had done. They had moved away from emails, but that also moved into other products. Now you're probably saying to yourself, well, it's okay for me collecting email addresses, but there's no way I can go over to China and build a couple of thousand of those kind of cheap tablets and try and sell them, because I haven't got the money. Now, what you can do, another way you can have a little platform of your own, other than creating your own kind of series of e-readers, is to create an app. There's no reason why you can't go to even just do a Google search. You'll find a lot of people who can create apps for you, and there is even some websites that have kind of app templates that you can play around with. And what you can do is you can upload your content into it, and you can maybe put in some free reports or some video training or something like that. But that could be your own app that you could offer to your customers, so they would have that on their smartphone. And then every so often, just like Amazon, you could be sending them notifications every often saying, I've got a new book being released, or I have a new video course, or you bought this last book, we've also got this one now in the app, would you like to buy that one? And you can remind them over and over again, not only with their email, but also by hitting notifications in your app on their smartphone. So that could be something you could have a look at doing. Now, another thing then too is they built their own platform. You won't find Amazon on Facebook, and you won't find it on Instagram, and you won't find it on Twitter, but you will find them on their own platform. Now, in the early days, they probably needed to get a lot of traffic going over to the Amazon store, so they did rely probably heavily on Google. I remember in the early days of Amazon, you could never do a Google search for any particular product at all, but Amazon was always at the first of the search results, and that was a paid advertisement. So they paid a lot of money to kind of build up that platform. And now that they have reached this kind of point where it is just kind of rolling along almost like a snowball running down the hill. It's come to a stage now where it's running along on its own. It's actually attracting its own traffic to it. I'm sure they probably have turned off a lot of those advertisements, because everybody knows Amazon out there. There's a kind of a saturation that it's met now. Even your grandmother knows now who Amazon is, and probably has been over there and has probably bought a couple of products on it. So they own their own platform. Again, Amazon now is as big as Google, it's as big as Facebook. It is seen as an old platform on its own. It isn't seen as a kind of a shopping, mall or whatever. It is a whole huge platform on its own. So consider that if you are maybe selling products on Facebook or, Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever, you don't really control those platforms. What you really should do, and again, I've mentioned it loads of times in the past, start building your own platform, start driving people back to your homepage, start collecting email addresses over there, but making people aware that you have a homepage. Don't be directing them to the Amazon store or to Facebook. If you're self-publishing some books or something like that, instead of directing them back to the Amazon store to let them know where your next books are, send them over to your platform there and try and get the details on it, but make them aware that you have a platform of your own. So again, like Amazon, it will take a while to build some traffic to it, but it will be something that you can control in the future. So give that some thought today if you haven't maybe set up, your own dedicated website. If you are directing people back through to your Amazon author page or whatever, that is not a page you do control. You may have some control over it, but at the end of the day, Amazon, could pull the plug at any moment. So you don't control that platform. So consider having some platform of your own that you control and send all your visitors and readers to that platform. And again, lastly, the last thing they have done here, they've made their own holiday. A lot of us would probably consider, well, over on this side of the pond, it's only recently, this past couple of years, we would have known about Black Friday, and Black Friday has got really, really popular over here with all these sales. But what Amazon did was, rather than waiting for the Black Friday sales, they said, well, what the hell, let's have our own holiday where we are going to take care of our customers, our Prime customers. So people who come over who are members of the Amazon site are going to get extra bonuses and kind of discounts and all that different things. But we're not going to wait for Black Friday. Let everybody else worry about Black Friday. We are going to set up our own dedicated holiday, and then we are going to probably, help empty their wallets before it comes to Christmas. So by the time it comes to everybody else on Black Friday or on the run up to Christmas, they already have most of the kind of, they have done most people probably have done most of the shopping on the platform at that stage. And again, that was simply by creating their own holiday. Now, again, you're probably saying to yourself, again, there's no way I'm going to have a holiday that is going to be as large as the Prime holiday. But there is no reason why you can't have your own dedicated holiday. There's nobody out there that you need to ask permission of, can I have a colouring book, holiday, or can I have some kind of day dedicated to whatever my business is? There's no reason, there's nobody you need to ask. You can set that up tomorrow. If you wanted to turn tomorrow into Mickey Mouse colouring book day, or kind of, maybe on Saturday could be female fiction writer holiday or something like that. Whatever, any kind of holiday, you could simply create that. And again, every year, remind your audience that that holiday is out there. And again, you could maybe tie it into your business. You could do discounts, you could do book sales, you could maybe have, your own kind of little Black Friday holiday before the Black Friday events that everybody is competing on. And again, there's no reason why you can't create a holiday like that. So I know, as I said, not everybody is a fan of Amazon. They probably feel that it probably has ruined most of the shopping in their local area and probably maybe lost jobs in it. But there is a lot of good things you can take in for Amazon. And again, too, if you do put any of those 4 points into place, it is going to make your business a lot stronger. So again, moving away from books, move to more profitable items. And again, keep in touch with your customers. Try and remind them that you're there. Even if you haven't got a product, reach out to them every so often that they still know you're around. And again, start working on building that platform, something that you can control, so that in case it's ever taken off you, like for example, if you're on Facebook and Facebook decide to close down your page and you lose all your custom, at least if you have a platform of your own, a website that you control, it is yours and nobody can take that off you. And again, to consider doing something as crazy as creating your own holiday dedicated to your business or on a topic that your business is related to, and see if you can get some publicity. You can reach out to maybe some of the newspapers online or maybe in your local paper or whatever, but try and drive some publicity on it, make people aware of the holiday. And again, too, it's something that comes up year after year after year. And again, you don't even have to rely on one of these kind of holidays a year. You could have 3, 4, you could have 5 holidays that are sprinkled out through the year on different topics related to your business, and then use that in the future then for drumming up sales and making people aware of you. And again, you can reuse these holidays year after year after year. And again, like most holidays, they probably will get more popular as more people know about them, and the more people you tell, the more it'll grow. So it will eventually probably reach a point like the Amazon Prime Day where you won't even need to advertise, or you won't even need to tell people, because there'll be that much of a kind of a huge saturation out there. People might be aware of your holiday and then will automatically come to you. So consider doing one of those 4 things, or even better, take on all 4, put them into your business, and I'm sure, like Amazon, it will put you in a lot stronger place than you are right now. So I hope that podcast episode was helpful today. And as always, if you'd like to know more about me, head over to Writecom, WRITECOME.com. Again, we've got a we've got a great free report over there, which is called Words to Wealth. And if you want to download the free report, just head on over to the homepage and download it there. And as always, if you'd like to ask me any questions or you'd like to reach out, just send an email to barryjmcdonald@gmail.com. And as always, thanks for listening in today and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us today. If you'd like more from the Writecom.com podcast, be sure to subscribe now for more tips, tricks, and ideas you can use to make more money from your words. See you in the next episode.